Wide. Doo-doo-doo. Hello, this is Pigsy doing another video. What the devil are you? So last night I was, I tell you all some weird things. I keep waking up in the night. It's sort of every. So what time I wake up? Probably I woke up about 3 o'clock. Woke up 5 o'clock. Woke up at 6 o'clock. I felt like quite wide awake. I know it's just lighter. And then I woke up and I felt like I'd spent some time with Bigfoot. It sounds strange, but I can remember this kind ape face on it. Actually, it was very much an ape. So I don't know what that is. It's very strange. Yeah, it's kind of, you know, it's almost like if I saw something like it, I wouldn't be worried about it. But I felt like I've dreamt about something. I mean, I can't pick out any details. I just had this weird thought in my head as I woke up, and I thought, how unusual. I mean, I haven't been following anything recently on any sort of channels. But yeah, just a very kind ape. Maybe he's got reddish eyes. But yeah, I think it's because whatever it represents spiritually is it has a close affinity with nature, and it's got this kind of. I think if you care about nature, it cares about you as well. It's that kind of relationship, which is probably why when people phone's rattling around a bit. When people get abducted and sort of things like that, they're usually a less positive influence in nature, like they're hunters or they're picking loads and loads of berries or something. And maybe they're just picking it for the sake of it. So in essence, they're disrespecting a natural resource. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know the ins and outs of that, but it's just strange. But it also, if it indicates anything being real, it's sort of like interdimensional. But I just keep an open mind about these things. You know, if you sort of because people live in a kind of the singularity mindset that you can't be open, you have to make a decision on things. And then if you say this, they start screaming evidence and stuff, and it's like, well, we don't have all the answers to this universe. We only know about 5% of what we know about this universe. That's our entire knowledge on this planet. And we also want to refuse anything that takes away our own kind of independence. We've got some ego stuff, which is also a problem. So moving on to the crypto stuff. I was on crypto.com and the crypto exchange. They had a fundraiser for these rally tokens, and basically you put money in a pool and you can buy the tokens at half price at the end of the period. And then I also had money locked into I don't know, I had money locked into this engine supercharge. And the supercharge takes your money in the liquidity pool, boosts it up to a certain point, and then basically, I mean, you get your same money you put in, but it will compare it by percentage. So you know, so it's basically you'll get a percentage back, and that will come. You get that percentage you'll take out of the reward pool, and it's got like 2 million engine coins. So if you've got, you know, 1% of that, you've got 10,000 or something like that. So I have to see how much I actually get paid, because you just don't know until you see the money. You might have miscalculated, thinking, well, I've boosted up this much, I added this much along the way. You know, is there 0.5%? That'd be nice. And there's also some APY, which is different from APR, because it's compound, which makes it quite unique. But don't always get too caught up into it. So with the rally token, So I could either pull the money out, which was in CRO, put it into the other funding pot, but it was oversubscribed. So basically the fundraiser, there was just too many people fundraising, so it went up to it's probably like the 20 million or something now. And so the amount of tokens I'd have access to is probably about 60. So I could buy 60 for half price, or I could leave my money in the engine event for the next 30 hours, and it will be times 30, which is much better, because it puts me closer to getting a higher reward. I'm not even there, for fuck's sake. Some guy standing on an arrow. What if I wanted to go right? I'd have to run into him. Did he bug me? Not that I want to go right. This is an option now. So yeah, so it's basically the difficulty. It's like when you're at school, you have these maths puzzles, and you think they don't even make sense. Why would I want to know the distance, time, and how long to bake a cake, or whatever, however it's positioned? But you get in these situations where you've got to figure out a percentage of one pot against another, and is it worthwhile? And the other one is based on how many people subscribe. If they oversubscribe, you get a lesser reward. But it's the reverse. If you oversubscribe into something where you get a percentage of the rewards, then it's better you put more money in a pot than less. So it's just crazy. However, the liquidity pool grows as well. So your competition is to get to a certain percentage. So it'd be great to see what gets paid out. And then I'm possibly going to play around with a few, like I say, they call them crap coins and all sorts of things, because they're lower end scale coins, but they can be considered high risk because they're younger companies. They're just putting out, whatever this coin they put out in the system. But basically, for the amount, you could, if they're like, for like £10, you can get a billion of these tokens. And if you sit on them for 10 years, no problem. The other thing I was thinking about with sort of tokenomics and basic liquidity and money going up is just look at the scale over 6 months to a year and how much it's increased. And don't worry about your investments. Maybe you should go and have a look at 6 months from now, because if it's increased by 500% over 6 months, if you went back to it 6 months, you're expecting it to have increased. However, it doesn't necessarily work that way. People are all caught up in these sorts of mechanisms, but basically there's little known science about it. Like, obsessed with Bitcoin, yeah, I saw Yearn Finance creep up to 10 to 15 grand. It's worth more than Bitcoin on its own at the moment. Bitcoin is greater potential, but it might not be, because it might just remain at sort of fluctuating between 40 and 50,000, because the other coins, as they grow, they seem to diminish the pool, the finance pool for Bitcoin. So if all the altcoins go down, then Bitcoin can go up. It's a bizarre, sort of strange mechanism. I don't fully understand it. I see it happen in the charts. And the problem is, as crypto becomes more popular, it's going to keep rolling out. So I don't think Bitcoin's going to go up or down much for a while. There will be a point where it hits scarcity. It's just like another altcoin itself. When it runs out of Bitcoin, then suddenly it's going to go boom. But a lot of people are like, well, I need to buy Bitcoin before it goes up. I don't think it's going up anytime soon. You'd be better off putting on a more promising investment, letting it go up in value, and then switching it across when the other one starts to tip to the point of when scarcity starts kicking in, and then seeing where it goes. But then when something's really scarce, it's either going to be wanted by people or not wanted. I like gold, but I don't necessarily seek gold. There's other things I can invest my money into. I could buy silver instead. So there's other options. It's trying to figure out what's going to be like these big, strong players in the game. And like I mentioned with Yearn Finance, it's like a way of farming coins and staking them into a pool and all that kind of stuff. I was just trying to quick look at the information about it. It's going to be huge. That's going to be like 100,000, 200,000. It's just going to go up and up. I just see it like flying upwards. It's obviously doing something right. And that's the other thing to track, the positive growth. and then it's also what happens once it peaks. So it's just consolidating along a line. So anyway, that's the kind of side of tokenomics, something spiritual about it in there. The other thing, I was like review craney. I'm just not too sure if I mean, I don't want to diss the owner or anything like that, but I'm not too sure how real they are, you know, because they ask, when girls ask you questions on things on your profile, like what's your date of birth and what's your star sign, if she went on your profile and looked at it, she could figure it out. A bloke would. You go, oh, okay, you know, he wouldn't even bat an eyelid to ask you your name and your star sign, and based on them kind of replies, they're kind of distant, they're not emotionally warm. It's like, how you doing, you know, how you feeling, and things like that. It could be written by anyone, so probably best to just go to one of these dating night type things and speed dating things. I know Dream Connections have got something like that. Just go there for a few days, meet up with the girls. It doesn't matter if you pay a lot of cash for it and have a great holiday, but at least you've done something physically. I mean, there's no point mentally doing things all the time. Otherwise, too much mental stuff gives you mental health problems. You fall in love with a laptop and take it to bed with you or something, you know, it's a little bit crazy. But yeah, apart from that, everything's good. But the other thing with the old MGTOW is that you just fall back on yourself. That's sort of for guys. Women same, you just fall back on yourself. I mean, you might have long-term plans, but it's not going to be a big problem. It's like the crypto, the scarcity and liquidity pool. You go somewhere where they've got plenty of women that you're looking for, or whatever partner you're looking for. If it lacks in your area, don't blame yourself. It's just the fact you've got to do something in your own tokenomics to make it work. I'll speak to you on. Have a great one. Speak to you, mate.